Once upon a time, in a cozy little town, there lived a girl named Kiki. She was beautiful, with soft, glowing skin and cheeks that were always rosy. Not from hard work, but from her endless naps and lounging by the window. Kiki was the only child of a well-to-do family, and her parents adored her. They showered her with love, gifts, and a comfy home. Yet Kiki was known for one thing above all else: her outstanding laziness. Kiki's parents worried that their daughter had no sense of responsibility. So they decided to entrust her with a large sum of money. They hoped this would teach her to manage her own affairs and take care of herself. But Kiki had other plans. Instead of using the money wisely, she spent it hiring people to do even the smallest chores. She paid one person to cook, another to clean, and yet another just to brush her hair. Soon enough, her days became a long string of naps, snacks, and hours spent admiring her reflection in the mirror. Time passed, and bit by bit, Kiki's money dwindled. One day, she counted her last few coins and realized with a shock that she was broke. She didn't have enough money to pay her helpers, and they started quitting one after another until there was no help left. She certainly didn't have anything left for herself. Without any skills or desire to work, Kiki found herself stranded. Her cupboards were bare, with little or no food left in them. Her luxurious lifestyle was fading away. She sat on her bed sighing, too lazy to even think about getting a job. Her worn, dirty clothes piled up next to her bed. The floor was dusty and littered with used cans in candy wrappers. Kiki was too lazy to even clean her space. Just when she was feeling truly hopeless, a town crier's voice rang out through the streets. "Hear me! Hear me! Her Majesty the Queen announces a grand banquet in the palace to find a suitable, hard-working bride for Prince Ali. All young maidens of noble heart are invited." Kiki's eyes sparkled with excitement. She had heard rumors of the Queen's grand banquets, tables piled high with deliciacies and rooms filled with freebies. And if she could marry Prince Ali, she would never have to work again. "Just when I thought all hope was lost," she exclaimed, "the universe sends me a box full of goodies." She danced around her dirty room. But when she moved toward her wardrobe, her heart sunk. Her dresses were threadbare and her shoes scuffed. She hadn't bought anything new because of her poor condition. "I need a new dress and shoes, and I need them fast," she thought. Reluctantly, Kiki decided to look for a job. "I'll work just for a few days, earn enough money to buy a beautiful dress, and then I can stop," she told herself. The next day, Kiki found a job at a bakery. On her first day, the owner, Mr. Dean, asked her to make 10 loaves of bread and place them on the sales counter. Kiki started by kneading the dough, but halfway through it, her body was covered in flour and she was already tired. "What do I do now? My arms are weak. How am I supposed to make 10 loaves of bread like this?" she murmured. When Mr. Dean stepped out, Kiki folded some paper bags to look like loaves of bread. She stashed them under the basket and placed 3 real loaves on top to make it look full. She didn't care if this would cost the owner dearly. All she wanted was her wage. When Mr. Dean returned, he saw the basket nicely placed and assumed Kiki had done the job. He gave her a bag of coins for her hard work. Kiki took the money and never returned to his shop. After counting the coins, Kiki realized it still wasn't enough for a new dress and shoes, so she set out to find another job. She came across a fruit vendor by the roadside and asked if he needed help. The old man was happy and offered her a job. "Some of the fruits in this basket are rotten, and they contaminate the good ones. Can you please sort them out?" he asked. "Yes, I can do that," Kiki replied excitedly. The old man nodded and left for the market. Kiki looked at the fruits and yawned. "I'm too tired for this, and I can't soil my hands picking up rotten fruit," she said to herself. Instead, she carefully arranged the shiny, fresh fruits on top of the basket to make it look like she had sorted everything. When the old man returned, he was pleased and gave Kiki a bag of coins. She took the money and ran home, never returning to his shop. She repeated the same tricks the next day with an old woman who needed help washing clothes. Kiki simply turned the clothes inside out, soaked them in water, and hung them to dry, pretending they were clean. She took the offered coins and left. The next day, Kiki counted her money and realized she had enough. She rushed out to buy a sparkling gown and glittering shoes. Finally, the day of the banquet arrived. Kiki dressed with care and gazed at her reflection, certain the prince would fall for her beauty and elegance. She imagined herself lounging on velvet cushions, enjoying a life of endless luxury. She arrived at the grand hall filled with laughter, music, and finely dressed guests. Kiki walked in confidently, drawing eyes with her gown. She stood with the other maidens, waiting for the royal family. Prince Ali entered with his mother, the queen. He began speaking to guests and maidens. As he approached Kiki, her heart fluttered, but before he could say a word, a voice rang out. It was Mr. Dean, the bakery owner. He pointed at Kiki, face stern. "That's the girl who lazed around my bakery, pretending to work and eating my goods." The old fruit seller stood up. "Yes, that's the girl who deceived me." One by one, other shop owners came forward, telling how Kiki had tricked them. Murmurs filled the hall. Kiki's cheeks flushed red as the guests stared in disapproval. The queen rose from her seat and said, "To join the royal family, one must have more than beauty. A noble heart and a sense of duty are required. Kiki, you seem to have forgotten these qualities. Being a princess requires work, and too many complaints have been made about your laziness and dishonesty. You are not qualified to be royal," the queen declared. The guards escorted Kiki out. She left in tears, her dream shattered. As she walked home in her now ragged dress and scuffed shoes, she truly felt ashamed. She had deceived kind people just to get what she wanted. Determined to make things right, Kiki went to the bakery the next day and offered to work without pay. She kneaded dough, arranged bread, and cleaned the floor. Mr. Dean was impressed and gave her a basket of bread. She visited the fruit vendor and others she had wronged. She cleaned her house, washed her clothes, and bought cookbooks to learn how to cook. She took other jobs, saving bit by bit. Over time, Kiki learned the value of hard work and the pride it brings. Years later, she became known not just for her beauty, but for her kindness and strong work ethic. And though she never became a princess, she built herself a life, one that was productive and fulfilling. Whenever she felt tempted to take the easy way out, she remembered the lesson she learned that night at the Queen's banquet. This is the end of the story.